been a rough week for Frankie Russo. Rough week. My Yankees. YouTube Live. How you doing? Facebook Live. I mean, yeah, Facebook Live. No, Scope. I'm on Scope. I'm on Scope. Lord have mercy. Oh my God. So, how y'all doing? Yankees, we won a tough game tonight. So, we got used to tomorrow night. We got to win one more game, and we're back in the series. Then it's a game 7, and it's anybody's series, you know? So, I tell you, I try to be honest as I can about the Yankees, the field management. I got to say, I'm very happy the way Aaron Boone is managing the Yankees. I think he's trying his best to win these baseball games. You know, Houston has some high leverage pitching, and so do we. And I just think, if we could just relax a little bit at the plate a little more, like comes tomorrow, we're not facing Verlander or Cole, so let's do some damage, but you know, have a purpose and what our approach is at the plate, because hitting is difficult, quite frankly, right? Hitting is a very hard thing to do. Hitting a baseball and getting a base hit is very difficult. So, these baseball players, the Yankee baseball players, their hand-eye coordination is sick, right? Their eyes are sick. What they see with the baseball, they have such a short period of time, like a second or something like that, to swing at the ball and conceivably hit it. So, I mean, it's an amazing, hitting is very difficult, You step to the plate before a pitch is thrown, you're making out 70 to 75% of the time. And then with the count, obviously, it changes. But overall, hitting it's difficult. So we're savages. We got to continue to be savages. Thank you, Jesus. Right? DJ Lemieux, oh my God. Right? Judge is playing great. Obviously, Gleyber Torres and Hicksey. Hicksey is one of my favorite players because Hicksey's a big time baseball player. He gets the big hits all the time. And what has to happen, like with Gary Sanchez, if Gary Sanchez was just, because the problem with Sanchez is his approach. He's got tremendous talent. Didi's gonna, love Didi in the big games too. Another big game hitter. Urshela has got to go back. I mean, he hit the ball pretty well today, but he has to go back to where his regular season, because I think overall the Yankees got to play loosey-goosey now, right? We were pressing too much during this series. We played nicer today. We got to go loosey-goosey and, like it's the regular season. And I think the Yankees are going to be fine. I think Boone is managing the pitching, the bullpen, the best he's done. That's what I think. Severino's going game 7. I mean, to me, the only thing now, I'm assuming Severino's going 7 because Severino won't be on rest for tomorrow's game. So I get that. So because if Severino's on rest, I'm throwing him game 6, right? We got to win game 6 to get to game 7. We can't lose sight of that. We got to win game 6. We got to be all in game 6. We can't assume because Verlander nor Cole is pitching that we're going to win the game. We got to go in there locked and loaded. And I'm sure the Yankees know that. But that's the key to that. And, I'm hoping that the Yankee hitters that are not hitting, they stay back, control the strike zone, and try to hit the ball down the middle. That's what Sanchez should be doing. And, Stantino, for the grace of God, I know he's hurt, so he's trying to play for us. Unfortunately, I don't know. If Stantino, Giancarlo Stanton, if he's hurt that much, we should just go with Encarnacion and hope, because he's a veteran hitter, hope that he settles down, isn't jumpy, and hit like it's the regular season. Let's try to take a step back. We got one game, take one game at a time. Let's win one more game, and then it's anybody's series. I don't care who's pitching. Anything can happen in a game 7. Okay? So that's what we got to do. Booney's doing a fabulous job. I tip my cap to him. He's doing a great job, man. He's doing the best that he can. He's really pushing out there. If he had Betances and Domingo Germán, oh my God. If he had Domingo Germán and Dylan Betances, that's interesting, But I still think we stay within ourselves. We lock and load. We stay focused. Take one game at a time. We got to win game 6. Because they're going to, and we got to watch the beginning of the game, because they're going to try to steal the game, jumping out to a big lead in the first inning. So it's very important that our pitchers like Chad Green's got to see that this is the thing too. And we're going to talk about our great president in a minute, but it's very important that the pitchers challenge the hitters. You can't nibble and do a circle jerk and go around home plate for 9 innings. You're not going to win. You got to challenge the hitters. Fastball command, fastball command, fastball command, and then everything else follows. If Paxton was more with the fastball earlier, Paxton would have probably completed the game. His fastball was that good tonight. If Paxton was dialed up with the heat early, that's how I want Severino to go. Severino doesn't do that. Severino acts like he's like Nolan Ryan, and he acts like he throws 85 miles an hour. These hitters will get themselves out if you challenge them. The pitchers got to challenge the hitters. They will get themselves out. No, Altuve's a different animal. Springer, he's streaky. But Altuve's different, right? Altuve's one of the best hitters in baseball, right? He's got great hands. We have DJ, our thump, and from up to the bottom. We have Hicksy, Judgy. I wish Judgy would try to attack early, because he takes the best pitch he's going to get in his at bat, and then he's swinging at breaking balls, which is a problem, right? It's a problem. He should attack and let the chips fall they may. A fastball, he sees a fastball down the middle. Attack, man. We need you attacking. We got to hit. We got to put the bat on the ball to win. That's it, and try to patch up the pitching with get outs from different ways. We have the arms. Hopefully, Ottavino could give us some innings tomorrow. Chad Green, Loizaga. Oh my God, what they do to Loizaga? Jonathan Loizaga. I'm going to talk about our great President Donald Trump. What up, Pat? How are you? God bless you. Thank you for stopping by, Pat, on YouTube Live. Jonathan Loizaga. Oh my goodness. What an arm. 99, 100, 98. Why don't they let this guy just air it out, man, for an inning? Just throw 100 miles an hour for an inning. Let this kid feel it, because they're not going to hit him. And if they turn on it, you tip your cap to them. They're not going to turn on the 99 to 98. Especially if he elevated in the high strike zone. A high strike, 98, they ain't touching it. Maybe Altuve, that's it. He's a freak. He's got freak hands. That's it. Not even Springer gets on that. Oh, way. Oh. Well, Isaac could be a weapon, man. But they go, he throws 98, then they start going with the deuce. Let the kid get some confidence. This kid's got some arm. We don't have Betances. We don't have Domingo Germán. Loizaga could be a very important piece for us in his next 2 games. This kid's got some arm. Throw the 99, 100 for 2 innings. And then throw the changeup. Don't make it complicated for the kid. Try to get the breaking ball over 3, 4 pitches in a row. Then he ends up walking a guy, and then they start spitting on his secondary stuff, and they're just sitting there. Come on, man. It's all about a feel. Let the kid get the feel, man. Let the kid Jonathan Loizaga could be a very helpful guy in these next two games. Hopefully, too. I think we got to take one game at a time. Game 6, he could be very helpful. Let the kid throw the out of the ball. Let him air it out, man. It's Frankie Russo. All right. So I'm going to move on now. Okay. NBA starts, I think, Wednesday. So my Knicks are making the playoffs. We're going to talk more about that in the future. And my New York Giants, hey, D. Jones is the deal. We'll see. Hopefully we get Saquon Barkley back, but I don't know about this with Pat Shermer. I don't know if I don't know. I don't know. I love my Giants, but, I'm more, it doesn't appear to me, based on the games I've seen, that they've actually focused on basics, like running the football. Looks like they're trying to, once Saquon Barkley gets back on the field, they're going to try to turn Saquon Barkley into a wide receiver. It just doesn't make sense to me. It starts with running the football and stopping the run. If we could run the football, and the way this kid quarterbacks, this Daniel Jones, he's got tremendous upside. I'm not going to lie. I didn't see it. He does. I thought he was I didn't think he was that good. I never seen him play. He was everybody said he was a stretch. I didn't know. They drafted him number 6. They thought it was a stretch. The kid is a nice quarterback. He's fearless in the pocket. He moves very well. And his accuracy and his arm strength is very under. I mean, he is a nice quarterback. So that's my take on my sports take. Now I'm going to get to Donald John Trump and what's going on with our great president. So first, I want to start with two things, and then I'm going to get to Syria. I haven't backed off, by the way. I've been busy. Quite frankly, I haven't backed off. I haven't backed off before I get to President Trump. I haven't backed off the Obama-Clinton crime family, material supporting Ansar al-Sharia in Libya. I haven't backed off on that, and I haven't backed off. We had Iranian spies inside the FBI. Lisa Page, Monica Witt. Lisa Page, Monica Witt. Who are they? And then we're still doing the research thing on that, because we found out that Lisa Page, her mother is Iranian. What does that mean? I don't know. And we found out that Peter Strzok's father was stationed in Iran for a lot of his career, and he lived over there. Did Peter Strzok? So I'm not saying I don't know what that means, but I'm just saying there's a lot of things, because we believe. Now, before I get there, let me give you my disclaimer. Hey, Lawrence, what up, my brother? Outside looking in, no U.S. Congressional Oversight Committee, no International Atomic Energy Agency, no Joint Chiefs of Staff, no National Security Council, no access to classified docs, nor do I know anyone who's access to classified docs. Court papers, judges' decisions, peer-reviewed journal articles, and well-sourced, well-researched open-source articles. What we search for is a quasi-model, quote-unquote, statistical significance. In all likelihood, no probability, look for trends, differences, and patterns in the data, and then we attempt to conceivably reach reasonable, responsible conclusions. And by the way, we believe our conclusions are close. Classified information is the mean. We're within the standard deviation of the mean. The Russo disclaimer. So that's my disclaimer. And by the way, I just came out with my beta. It's my beta on. We have an app now. The Frankie Russo Show has an app. It's a beta. It's in beta stage. We're still, it's ground level. Very simple. Very basic. You join for free with future discounts later on. Please join my app. It's the beginning of how we're going to move this thing forward. The Frankie Russo Show. You go to right now it's an Apple, got approved recently. So you go to the Apple store, you put in Frankie Russo, my name, and the Apple company, America's Team. And you just click on it and you join free. And future, I'm going to monetize it down the road. And if you want to get involved in some events and some products, then there'll be discounts. So please join, and you'll have access to when I go, because I've been going back and forth with some networks, and we'll see where we're going to end up with this app and different things, with the live show at a network, with the app. It's going to be interesting. So over the next, hopefully over the next 2 weeks or so, I'll have a very good idea. So you can go to my Twitter page at Frankie Russo 1 on Twitter, and you see I pinned it. You just click on the link, and you could start to, or you just go into the App Store and download it. Okay, so Frankie Russo's app. You got to check it out. Just go to Frankie Russo. If you have an iPhone, Frankie Russo, put it into the search bar. Up pops America's Team. You see my name, Frankie Russo. Just click on it. Just download it. It's free, and it'll be monetized later on. We're developing the whole thing. I got a few more things we're going to add and things like that as we develop this thing. So we have some idea. We're going back and forth, and we're with my developers, and we'll see as we move forward. Okay. So check that out, Frankie Russo's app, and so let's get back to this now. So our great President Donald John Trump. So we believe, when I was listening on the show, I think I was on a list on the show, I had a list live show, YouTube Live, Scope Live. I I thought it was Facebook. That's crazy. But on my last show, I felt that the Ukraine thing was a ruse, right? In other words, quid pro quo has been going on for a long time, and it's only been on steroids since the Clintons, right? And now we got Joe Biden, and they're saying that Pelosi's son, Romney's son, I mean, Kerry's family. Really, at this point, who cares, quite frankly? I think it's one big ruse, honestly. I think it's one big ruse. I really do. And we were saying that we believe that, Joe Biden is not really there to run to be president. He's not there to be president. He didn't want to be president. He don't have the fire in the belly to be president of the United States. It's like he really, it really isn't why Joe Biden's there. And I said that, and I just found something a few days ago published by, I don't know who published this, but I found this online. I don't know who published this. I found this online. Biden camps, because we believe this is why he's here. It's not about Ukraine. It's not about being president of the United States, right? We said this on the air, right? Biden camp warns rivals off attacks on his family in Ohio debate. Biden camp warns rivals off attacks on his family in Ohio debate. That's why he's running. He's running to protect his family. He don't want to be president. I don't believe he does. He wants to stay out of jail. He doesn't want anything to happen to his son, Hunter. He wants to stay out of jail. That's what I believe. Hunter Biden. So Joe Biden's running basically to protect his family, so he doesn't go to jail. And the fact that he's a candidate, here's another thing, right? And they use it against they use it against Mick Mulvaney. They try to use it against our great president Donald John Trump. They say, "What are you talking about?" They said, right? They said the opposition, the sickos, as our great president would say, right? They're saying, well, how could you call up Ukraine and talk about Joe Biden? Isn't he a political opponent? That's why he's running. So that argument could be thrown up. That's the setup, right? Because they're corrupt, right? We know they're corrupt. This is not, are we shocked? Hell no. No way. We know the deep state is very corrupt, right? The corruption in deep state, quite frankly, is probably beyond our belief, right? We know that. But the point is now with Joe Biden is not good. He's not getting the nomination. Okay, I'll be sure he ain't getting the nomination. He's there to do this. Leave my family alone. I'm running. And if you attack him, if President Trump says he's corrupt, if President Trump talks to other leaders, which he has a right to do, and tell them, what are you investigating Joe Biden? They're saying because he's running for president, he's investigating a political opponent. That's That is the essence of what the deep state is. That's this whole game, right? This is how they roll, right? Oh, what are you talking about? They tell President Trump. President Trump goes, look what the family did. Look at Hunter Biden, and they say, what does the opposition say? Well, you're asking a foreign country to investigate a political opponent. That's the setup. Okay, that's why Joe Biden's running. Joe Biden don't want to be president. Believe me, he don't want to be president. He don't want to be president. He just don't want to go to jail. He don't want his son to go to jail. So he's out there. And the protection is he's a candidate. So it's out there. It's in the source. And he could go, oh, but what about, and then if it gets worse, he could just point to Hillary Clinton and the Clintons, right? They got off. Why can't Joe Biden get off? It's beyond belief, right? The biggest quid pro quo operation is the Clinton Foundation. And don't be shocked if the Obama Foundation isn't far away, right? That's another ruse, right? So this is what, and the reasons why Joe Biden is running. He don't want to be president, right? He don't want to be president. He's there to protect. He's there to protect his family, himself and his family from going to jail. And anybody, like I said, like we've been saying, and we said it in the last show, you listen to what the opposition says to our great president, right? They say, well, wait a second, Mr. President. Didn't you talk to the Ukraine about Joe Biden? And whether you mentioned his name, you didn't mention his name. I mean, it's so semantical, their argument. But the point is, he's running because it sets up the argument that President Trump, they're trying to say the fact that he's running, his corruption, Joe Biden's corruption in the past is off limits because he's a political opponent. Isn't that beyond belief? The fact that he himself, the Clintons, the Clinton Foundation, Biden's son, Romney's son, Pelosi's son, it's all corruption. None of these people should be able to run. And then do the corruption and then throw up to our president, well, he's a political opponent. You're using foreign countries, foreign entities to investigate a foreign opponent. Beyond belief, right? Beyond belief. That's like the mainstream media calling out the great mayor of New York, Rudy Giuliani, claiming that he's shadowing President Trump's foreign policy. I mean, are you kidding me? Hillary Clinton had a server in the basement of her house giving away the nuclear codes to foreign enemy actors of this country. Debbie Wasserman Schultz had an offline server by that an IT group, the Arwan brothers, for quite some time. They made millions of dollars, did the Arwan brothers. And what they did was, from the offline server that was out of the purview of basically the Democratic Congress, they were sending America's secrets to the North African, Middle Eastern region. And these Arwan brothers were from Pakistan, truth be told. So you had the Hillary Clinton server in the basement of her house giving away the nuclear codes. Barack Obama on 60 Minutes, Barack Hussein Obama on 60 Minutes claiming that he knew nothing about the server, and it came out that he had 18 emails from that server, from hrod@clintonemail.com. It's beyond belief, right? The corruption inside the Obama-Clinton crime family is beyond belief. Beyond belief. And craziness. So here's another Fox News State Department report on Clinton emails finds hundreds of violations, dozens of individuals at fault. A State Department report into Secretary of State Hillary Clinton's use of a private email server for government business found dozens of individuals at fault and hundreds of security violations. right? The report summarized an administrative review of the handling of classified information relating to Clinton's private email server used during her tenure as the nation's highest ranking diplomat between 2009 and 2013. The report dated September 13th was delivered to the office of Chuck Grassley, who was the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee until last year. The report reflected only approximately, listen to this, 30,000 emails that the State Department was able to physically review, found 38 individuals were responsible for 91 violations. Former CIA Director John Deutsch lost his security clearance because he had 51 classified docs on a server in his house. He was a former CIA director from MIT. He had so much data on the Clintons that William Jefferson Clinton pardoned him before he left office in January, I think, of 2001, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, January of 2001, if I'm not mistaken. So another 497 violations were also found, although the report was not able to assign responsibility in those cases, in part because many of those individuals involved had already left the department during the time it took to receive the emails and receive them. The report described an investigation fraught with obstacles, including delays, employees who left the department, and more than 30,000 deleted records. Beyond belief. Beyond belief. The Obama Clinton State Department, the corruption, right? So just to give you an idea of this whole thing. Beyond belief. Now, I want to get back to the Syria thing, you know? I want to get back to the Syria thing. Now, I'll tell you the truth. The Syria thing, everybody's saying, oh, President Trump's withdrawing troops. He withdrew, the last time I checked, it was 50 troops from Syria, right? And we talk about this. I got the vectors now, so we're going to go there now, okay? So what I find really crazy is how this whole thing is reported, right? So Turkey, right? Erdogan, Sudan, Omar Bashir, he got couped recently, right? Mubarak was couped. Morsi got put in by the Obama Clinton crime family. Well, Hillary did put in Mohammed Morsi, one of their great political triumphs in the Obama Clinton crime family, when they put Mohammed Morsi in, right? And in addition, what they did in Libya is beyond belief, right? Arming 20,000 man-pads from the Gaddafi regime. He hoarded Soviet man-pads. They whacked Gaddafi, and they gave it to the Muslim Brotherhood operatives, Mustafa Jalal and Abdel Hakim Belhaj. Good policies. The Obama Clinton crime family, really good, right on. And they actually were using the according to Kenneth Timmerman, he has the data. He was out there. I'm over here in Brooklyn. They're using the man-pads, the 6-foot missiles. Was the Afghan Taliban shooting down Chinook helicopters? They actually were shooting at Americans. And in one instance, they used one of the 400 FIM-92s that the Obama Clinton crime family gave the Al Qaeda in Libya. You know Al Qaeda is, right? They gave them weapons. 10 years after September 11, 2001, Al Qaeda in America, Anwar al-Awlaki, Mohammed Atta, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed, Ramzi Youssef, Omar Abdel Rahman, yeah. And in the UK, Anwar al-Awlaki was an FBI informant. In UK, Abu Hamzi al-Mashri, you had Abu Yahya al-Libi, yeah, Al-Qaeda and the fraudsters in the UK gave 80 from they defrauded the British taxpayers, these tens of billions of dollars according to the London Times. And they gave 80 to 100 million to Al Qaeda in UK. And the Obama Clinton crime family, where Al Qaeda was on steroids in Libya, gave 400 FIM-92s. They gave Iran. They gave, because they whacked Gaddafi. Gaddafi was hoarding 20,000 Soviet manpads. So let's get back to Syria. I got the vectors. I want to go over this. So President Trump, the Trump administration, President Trump's doing an amazing job with this country, right? So his policies in Syria is he's trying to, listen, he only withdrew 50 troops out of Syria. Everybody's, oh, what he's doing. Oh, wait a second. The largest military base outside of Qatar, outside the United States, is in Qatar, right? There are 3 to 10 military bases in approximately an 8-mile radius around Damascus, Iranian military bases. See, because what Iran does is the vector from Tehran to Baghdad, Iran's most effective vector is the northern border of Saudi Arabia. They go from Tehran to it's about a 5-hour, they could take an SUV with Brigadier General Sharifi, the facilitator of the Crowbar Towers attack, according to the FBI. He could get a Winnebago, drive from Tehran, Iran, 5 hours approximately, and they'll be in Baghdad. They can carry in this terrain 20 Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps soldiers from Tehran, go right into Baghdad. It's a vector, the third quadrant, about 230 degrees southwest, and they're in Baghdad. Now, the vectors that are most effective in the geopolitical world is the vectors that are parallel to the Cartesian coordinate system, and that's from Baghdad to Damascus. Iran's most effective vector, right? So you figure they take 20 soldiers from the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, throw them in a Winnebago with 58 AK-47s. They drop off 10 Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps members with 25 AK-47s. From Baghdad, it's about another 5 hours or so approximately, and they're in Damascus. And there's a lot going on over there. It's Iran, the Iranian embassy in Damascus. The Iranian embassy in Damascus was where Brigadier General of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, Sharifi, implemented and orchestrated the Crowbar Towers attack, where they killed the men and women of the United States Armed Forces in Bahrain, Saudi Arabia, which is not far from Riyadh. Okay, just to give you an idea. So now the Kurds. Now, this is what I mean about mainstream media and why I have problems with mainstream media. Kurdish forces announced deal with Damascus after U.S. pullout. Nearly a week after the U.S. announced the decision to pull out, its troops from the northern Syria to make way for a Turkish insurgent. Kurdish forces in the country have reportedly agreed to a new deal with Damascus. Who's Damascus? Right? It's not Turkey. No. This deal is with Iran. Mainstream media will never say Iran's involvement in this whole thing. Right? Because then it would make President Trump look like a genius. Right? If it comes out, because we don't even know, because just to even move this forward, Turkey at one time staged, and there's a lot of data out there. I'm not saying I got incontrovertible truth, but I'm creeping toward statistical significance. That the coup that happened a few years ago, not far recently, that happened in Turkey, which enabled Erdogan to turn the screws on the civil liberties of the Turkish people and get more control. There's many sources out there, out in the North African, Middle Eastern region, out in Turkey, claiming that was a fake coup. And over here, I was told one of the networks was actually using fake footage on this so-called Turkish insurgent. I don't know, right? But I'm just saying, like in Mosul during the Obama-Clinton crime family, we had Hezbollah being dressed up as Iraqi soldiers while they were supposedly firing at ISIS, right? I mean, this area, especially with Syria, it's very confusing. I know President Trump dropped bombs over there, big time bombs. May have even dropped the mother of all bombs over there. So, our great president is doing what a president does, right? He's a tremendous diplomat, and I trust his judgment on how he's handling Syria, right? Syria is very complicated. He's trying to, he got out of that fake Iranian nuke deal that did not include the Iranian ballistic missile program inside the Iranian nuke deal. And they had the data that Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, when he was the head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, they had the data that claimed that North Korea had miniaturized nuclear warheads for its long-term ballistic missile program going back to 2006. They're highly confident. And the Obama-Clinton crime family ignored it, right? So now, bringing it full forward, we got Kurdish forces announced a deal in Damascus after U.S. pullout. Now, Iran gives $3 to $15 billion to Assad. Dexter Filkins from the New Yorker magazine claims that. Kenneth Tillerman, another tremendous investigative reporter. General Soleimani, the general of the special forces of the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, the Quds Force, is out there. They picked Maliki as the prime minister of Iraq when we whacked Saddam Hussein. Soleimani, when he saw that Assad was going to collapse, went out to Russia. Now, this in the open source, they claim he met with Putin. I don't know. But at the very least, General Soleimani of Iran met with a high-ranking senior Russian official, right? Russia is in Syria. Iran's got 3 to 10 military bases in the radial direction around Damascus. Russia above Damascus, Russia has 2 to 4 military bases in Syria. North Korea has a military base underground in Syria, and the United States above Raqqa got 8 to 10 military bases over there. So when people say President Trump is pulling out of Syria, he's taking out 50 troops. We still got 8 to 10 bases over there. I mean, how much is he pulling out? Really, how much is he really pulling out? I mean, he is strategically. I mean, he's not giving up. He's not giving up anything up. He's just taking our troops home. That's all. That's all he's doing. Because we are in Syria, we are in Afghanistan. We got to be there. President Trump tried to pull. I mean, he's pulling out as much as he can because these are strategically. We are strategically positioned in Syria as we are strategically positioned in Afghanistan. As we have military bases in Qatar for these very reasons on what's going on in the northern border of Saudi Arabia, what's going on in Yemen, the southern border of Saudi Arabia with Sana'a and the Houthi rebels, and you got Iran denying they got anything to do with the Houthi rebels, and we found out through Nikki Haley and in Washington with the missile that was launched at Riyadh, and it says made in Iran. I mean, it was pretty clear that Iran is lying to us over there, like Iran is lying about, Saudi Arabia is not building a 600-foot wall on the Iraqi border to keep out ISIS. ISIS is ISIS to me is the Iranian revolutionary. ISIS to me is the Iranian global terror network, the Sunni Shiite nexus. That's ISIS to me. So, because I'm very confused, and I'm going to go over some stuff. Very confused with Erdogan, because we know Erdogan is a very shady character, right? Very shady, and he's with NATO, and he goes back and forth with NATO and the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, with Russia and China. Iran is involved, and Pakistan and India is involved in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization, which is the answer to NATO. Now, so this is where we are, right? So this thing with what up, Porky? This thing with the Kurds forces announced deal with Damascus. My question is, Why aren't they mentioning Iran? This is very dishonest, right? Very dishonest. And I'm, love Fox News, but why is mainstream media? Kurdish forces announced deal with Damascus after U.S. pull out. Where is Iran here? Iran's involved, right? Okay. Now I'm going to go back a little bit, and I'm going to show you if I can find okay, here it is. Now I got the map. This is I wanted to show you, this is the map that I was going to show you this is right. So here's Riyadh, right? This is Saudi Arabia. Up here is the Kirkuk oil pipeline. This is where, and over here is, if I'm not mistaken, Baghdad, right? Yeah. This is Baghdad right here, right? So this way from Iran comes this way, right? Iran comes this way, Baghdad, and then they go to Damascus right here, right? So right here's Baghdad. The vector from here, from Tehran, right? Okay. The Kirkuk oil pipeline, this was where the Kurds in Iraq had their vote for independence, right? Barzani was the leader, and they were going to take this area with the Kirkuk oil pipeline and build their country. Well, as we talked about in the last show, the Iraqi Prime Minister, Hadi, and right, I think it's Hadi. Or something. I always get him confused with the Yemen Prime Minister, but I think it's Hadi. The Iraqi Prime Minister, Hadi, and the Khomeini and Erdogan were up in arms because the Kirkuk oil pipeline is approximately a $7 billion asset. And the Kirkuk oil pipeline goes into Turkey. So Erdogan was not giving up that asset. Neither was the Khomeini, because he's getting a piece of that because he took over Baghdad. Iraq controls the densely Shiite populated countries like Iraq, like Syria, like Beirut, Lebanon, like Damascus, Syria, like Baghdad, Iraq, like Sinai, Yemen. And that's how they roll. So up here, the Kurds were involved. They had a vote. This was going to be their region. And the Khomeini got involved. Erdogan got involved. And Prime Minister, no, I think it's Abadi. Let me see. I'll tell you right now who it is. The Prime Minister of Iraq. It's either Prime Minister, Iraqi Prime Minister is, I think it's Abadi, if I'm not mistaken. Well, I know he was at one time. Let's see. Wait. Let me see. Iraqi Prime Minister, is it Abadi? Yeah, it's Abadi. Hadi is right. It was Abadi. Right. Right. He was until October 2018. So Abadi was there though during this. Kirkuk was Abadi. So it's Abadi in Iraq, and Hadi got couped in Yemen. Right. I always get them confused. So Hadi in Yemen and Abadi in Iraq. So here is the Kirkuk oil pipeline. Here's Baghdad. Iran's over here. Tehran is over here. Here's the vector from Tehran, Iran, into Baghdad. And 90 degrees above Baghdad is the Kirkuk oil pipeline. And what's really crazy is alongside of the Kirkuk oil pipeline, not far away, is Mosul, right? Mosul, Iraq. And that's where, according to published reports, that's where, the Iraqi forces and some of the Shiite, the independent Shiite forces were fighting with the United States, were fighting the ISIS. Meanwhile, we found out there was reports in Mosul that Hezbollah fighters, the Shiite terrorism arm of Iran, were being dressed as Iraqi soldiers and fighting alongside the Iraqi soldiers and American soldiers, apparently, against, this is during the Obama Clinton crime family, against ISIS. I don't know, but it's really, really confusing. A ruse, like I don't know. I just so I understand this conflict because it was over the Kirkuk oil pipeline. They're claiming the Turks, Erdogan is there because of the. They're claiming that Erdogan was there because of the oil fields in Syria. I don't know. I just am very confused because there was published reports that came out that Erdogan was hitting the Turks were hitting the ISIS prisons and releasing them. Right? Okay, now. So this is the vectors of that we're talking about. The Kirkuk oil pipeline. Down here is Sana'a. So these are the areas that Iran controls. Baghdad, Damascus here, Beirut here, and here's Riyadh. From Sana'a, right, is where the Houthi rebels posed conceivably an existential threat to Riyadh. There was some published reports they actually hit some oil fields. They had tried to in the past, and the U.S. defense system intercepted it. U.S. missile defense system intercepted these missiles that were coming from Sana'a, and the Islamic Republic of Iran was denying their involvement. So this is where we are with this, right? This way, it's very confusing, because up here, the Kirkuk oil pipeline, where the Kurds were trying to actually take the land, they had to vote Erdogan, so they had no part with that. Why is so-called Turks going into Syria? Now we know Syria, Iran gives 3 to 15 billion to prop up Assad. We know that. That's Dexter Filkins and Kenneth Timmerman. We know that in addition, and we talked about what Iran has in an approximately an 8-mile radius around Damascus, 3 to 10. Well, yeah, a regional takeover. Who? A regional takeover. Who? The Turks are taking over Syria. Right. Sure. Iran's going to go, yeah, sure, you take it over. Right. I don't believe it. No. When you mention Damascus, you're talking Iran. Iran already, the FBI did a 5-year investigation on the Khobar Towers attack. And you know how that attack happened? It was in Bahrain, Saudi Arabia. That's not far from Riyadh, right? Brigadier General Sharifi, the FBI director Louis freed 250 agents, a 5-year investigation from the Iranian embassy in Damascus. Okay? So one way or another, Iran has something to say. And mainstream media will never mention that because you know why? It makes President Trump look like a genius. Because who's President Trump putting the squeeze on? Who's President Trump putting the squeeze on? Iran, right? He's really squeezing Iran. He looks like a genius. So Erdogan, right? Because look, check this out. Kenneth Timmerman wrote an article, Turkish leader aids and abets ISIS. This is why I'm confused what's going on with Turkey. Turkish leader aids and abets ISIS. Erdogan off the deep end. Now, according to Kenneth Timmerman, Turkish assistance to ISIS starts right at the top, right? In 2016, WikiLeaks published an archive of 36 to 38,000 emails documenting, this is Kenneth Timmerman from the New York Post, documenting the involvement of Erdogan's, I can't read it, Erdogan's son-in-law in helping ISIS market oil stolen from Syria and Iraq. Okay. So maybe that's why he's I don't know. Maybe it's why he's doing it, right? So Maybe he's trying to steal more oil. I don't know. But in addition, the daughter of the Turkish president, Erdogan's daughter, reportedly set up an entire medical corps, including a hospital to treat wounded ISIS fighters in southeastern Turkey, close to the Syrian border. In addition, ISIS evacuated severely wounded fighters across the border into Turkish army trucks without undergoing customs inspections, according to Kenneth Tillerman. The evidence of Erdogan's direct and personal and institutional support for ISIS and related jihadi groups is so extensive, the wonder is why American media is not paying more attention to it, because they're claiming that he's fighting ISIS. This is why I get like, what the heck is going on in there? Is he fighting ISIS? That's like you know what that's like? That's like Bama. Bama goes, oh, a red line. They're drawing a red line. Assad is chemical weaponizing his people. Obama's up in arms. He sits on his hands, doesn't do anything. Sends his staff to the Congress, petitions the Congress for more funds to go over there. He does nothing, right? Because he wants that fake Iranian nuke deal, so he can take 2 points from the 150 billion, that's 3 billion, and put it in some bank in Sudan, the Al Salam Islamic Bank in Sudan, headed by at one time the dictator Omar Bashir and Barack Obama's half brother Malik Obama, yeah, who was best friends, well, very good friends with Gaddafi. I'm telling you, I'm not getting off that thing with Obama and Hillary Clinton's materially supporting Ansar al-Sharia in Libya, because I believe that the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group, that Obama knew Abu Yahya al-Libi, the MI5, the English intelligence informant in England, MI5, MI6, with Abu Hamza al-Mashri, as we had our own informants, Anwar al-Arki, Abdel Sattar Sheikh out in San Diego with the 9/11 hijackers and the Al-Qaeda support inside of the United States. Those vectors are very clear. Those vectors are on my website. You got to go to my app, Frankie Russo. Go put Frankie Russo in the Apple App Store. ISIS is supposed to get rid of corruption, but turned out to be Al-Qaeda. Oh my God, bro. That's really that's really on point. I could just talk to Musa Abu al-Zakwari, right? The first Al-Qaeda in Iraq, right? ISIS was really the vacuum that was created from the whacking of Saddam Hussein, because all of the Saddam leaders plus Musa Abu al-Zakwari from Jordan, he was the assassin, and he was the beginnings of this so-called ISIS movement, which and Iran was there protecting him. And what happened was General Petraeus, well, I don't know, but General Petraeus, car keys, General Petraeus, General Petraeus was part of that, United States forces, the coalition forces, the Iraqi forces, and he turned that whole thing around, the surge. And then the Obama Clinton crime family got in there, and they released the 5 Quds Force leaders in Erbil, Iraq. They submarined General Petraeus because he was first of all a political threat, and then they framed him with his he was a CIA director, and the chick that was writing his bio ended up having an affair with her, and the fact that he was giving her information because the CIA director was classified information, right? That whole thing was a setup because General Petraeus was not going along with the Benghazi narrative. So any of the generals that didn't go along with the fake with the Obama Clinton crime family stuffed jihad radical Islamists, well, you were comparing them both because they were both funded by the United States. I mean, I don't know. I mean, is whether we're funding. Okay, let's say this, which I think is really really clear, right? Okay. I'm not going to get off this Erdogan thing, but since you brought that up, I just want to say this. There's two things, and this gets to me a lot, right? We got this thing called, we got Al Qaeda, right? Al Qaeda is the militant branch of Muslim Brotherhood, as Hamas is the Palestinian branch of Muslim Brotherhood. Al Qaeda was run by, at one time, Osama bin Laden. Al Qaeda well, Anwar al-Awlaki was involved with Al Qaeda, right? Ayman al-Zawahiri is involved. Ayman al-Zawahiri, according to open source, is the leader of Al Qaeda, the militant branch of Muslim Brotherhood. Anwar al-Awlaki's Muslim Brotherhood, Osama bin Laden's Muslim Brotherhood, Ayman al-Zawahiri's Muslim Brotherhood, Muhammad Atta's Muslim Brotherhood, Khalid Sheikh Mohammed is Muslim Brotherhood. It goes on and on and on and on. Omar Abdul Rahman is Muslim Brotherhood. The son of Ayman al-Zawahiri was involved in Ansar al-Sharia. Mustafa Jalal Abdel Hakim Belhaj is Muslim Brotherhood. Those are the people that Obama allowed to take control of Libya when they whacked Gaddafi. So what am I saying here, right? Well, Al Qaeda. There's an Al Qaeda, according to the Kharkis, according to the open source. Well, Fox News came out with a documentary, Al Qaeda support inside the United States for the 9/11 hijackers, right? Al Qaeda has a network inside of England. The Libyan, the Libyans migrated to Manchester, England in the 90s. The Libyan Britons, they formed a Libyan Islamic fighting group's terror cell inside of Manchester. The English politics is so bad. They're just as bad. The English government is just as bad, corrupt like you wouldn't believe. So they had an Al Qaeda support network, in the United States, but the Al Qaeda support network in Libya was on steroids when Benghazi happened. That's why it's so egregious. The way the whole thing was handled, it was egregious, right? Egregious. You're right, Kharkis. I agree with you. Globalism. But so what they did with Gaddafi, who I'm not, he wasn't a good guy, but he did give up his weapons of mass destruction to the prior administration, right? Obama and Hillary Clinton whacked him. They whacked him. They whacked him. He had, according to WikiLeaks, he had 143 tons of gold. So Cameron from England and Sarkozy from France were flipping out. They loved it. They got the gold, right? The radical Islamists got the weapons, 20,000 man-pads. They even whacked the general, the defector from the Gaddafi regime, because they were afraid he was going to go back and tell NATO, who was bribing the general of the Gaddafi regime, General Yunus, according to WikiLeaks. Right? Crazy stuff. Right? So the thing about it is, right, Al Qaeda, the Obama-Clinton crime family, materially supported Al Qaeda foreign fighters that go back to the Afghan Taliban versus the Soviet Union in the 90s. So they were very clear that they were Al Qaeda foreign fighters, Bin Kumu, Abu Yahya al-Libi, Mustafa Jalal, Abdel Hakim Belhaj, Noman Benoitman, Abdel Basat Haran, right? All these Al Qaeda foreign fighters that go all the way back to the Afghan Taliban versus the Soviet Union. So everybody was aware that the Obama-Clinton crime family was giving them man-pads, was materially supporting them to take out Gaddafi. And then they lost control, and it became a gun-running operation because the interim government, the Libyan Islamic Fighting Group, took over. And they were running the guns with Mustafa Jalal and Abdel Hakim Belhaj all over the North African Middle Eastern region. Man-pads, 6-foot missiles on their shoulder. They could shoot down a Chinook helicopter, which they did. They killed, unfortunately, they killed many of our Navy Team SEAL 6 were killed by these assaults from Afghan Taliban. So, well, ISIS started, Kharkis, I believe. To me, ISIS, you see, if you really want to look at this, ISIS is Sunni militias, right? You got a Sunni militia, right? According to published reports, 9 Sunni to 1 Shiite. Right? So ISIS is everywhere, right? 9 Sunni to 1 Shiite. 9 Sunni to 1 Shiite. The Iranian Global Terror Network, which started in Sudan with the coup of Omar Bashir, the Muslim Brotherhood operative. So Iran decided, because for Iran to gain regional hegemony, because all they've done basically, they don't have the numbers. They need a Sunni partner, right? And I believe that Sunni partner was Muslim Brotherhood operatives. So they go into the capital of Yemen, Sana'a, and they coup the Sunni government, Hadi, right? They send them to Aden, and Iran materially supports the Houthi rebels. They go into Baghdad, Iraq. They take over Baghdad. They control Iraq. They go into Damascus. They take over Damascus. They control Damascus. They go into Beirut with Hezbollah. They get 100,000 weapons underground, 100,000 missiles underground, more than any NATO country has above ground, does Hezbollah in Beirut, which is a hop, skip, and a jump into Israel. So the point is, in order for Iran to, because Iran has this thirst, Saudi Arabia is more, I believe, is more concerned about their market share in OPEC, right? Not that they don't want regional hegemony, but Iran wants it all. They thirst for this. They want to be the next Ottoman Empire. They thirst for this to be the direct descendants of Muhammad. They want to be the Islamic dynasty that they crave for. They want to be that power. They are the next Nazi Germany, I believe, Iran, right? So what Iran does is, Iran's got a partner, Muslim Brotherhood operatives, Omar Bashir, Ayman al-Zawahiri, right? So that we're in Sudan, the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, Hezbollah. They had this big pan-Islamic summit with Hassan Tarabi, and that was the beginnings of the Iranian Global Terror Network. Basically, a Sunni Shiite nexus to fight one cause, America and Israel. Boom. And that's what happened with the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, with the Sudanese mission, the Sudanese diplomats talking with the radical Islamists that came, the Sudanese nationals that came and they were casing. Sajid Ali was casing. He spoke perfect English. He was the blind sheik's translator, and they were casing all of the tri-state area, looking to blow up buildings and kill Americans. They ended up getting extradited. The 1993 World Trade Center bombing. It's crazy stuff. The diplomatic visas are the problem now, right? At one time, you had the illegal money transmitting in Brooklyn here, in Atlantic Avenue, Brooklyn, was the illegal money transmitting. The Iranian informants of those big illegal money rings. One of them was this big ring called the Al-Rani ring, and they got some informants from there. They're able to solicit and able to gain some access to big sheiks out in Yemen, like Mohammed al-Mawad, and some here locally, some radical Islamists that owned businesses that were fronting, like an ice cream parlor, like Abid El-Fiji. Absolutely, I agree with you. That's the whole point. Abid El-Fiji had $21 million in a bank account, and he owned an ice cream parlor over here on Atlantic Avenue in Brooklyn. He ended up materially supporting with money 13 countries where they had terror training camps for radical Islamists. Yeah. So getting back to Erdogan, right? So what I was trying to say was, before I got off into all these different tangents, I was trying to interact with one of the individuals in the room, because I'm very Erdogan. So there's some reports that Erdogan, he's here's an article according to Kenneth Timmerman that Erdogan's assistance to ISIS starts right from the top. I read this earlier. I'm going to read it again. In 2016, WikiLeaks published an archive of 38,000 emails documenting I left my glasses, the movement of Erdogan's son-in-law in helping ISIS market oil stolen from Syria and Iran. Wow. That says, oh no, it's Iraq. It's not Iran. I didn't think it would be. It's Iraq. So Iraq is Iran though, right? I don't know. So in addition, the evidence of Erdogan's direct personal and institutional support for ISIS and related jihadi groups is so extensive. The wonder is, okay, we've read that. So this is interesting, right? I don't know why. So one reason could be that he's trying to steal some oil from Syria. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he's getting oil from the Kirkuk oil pipeline. Hey, Porky, what's going on? We can camp. Tomorrow's a big game for us, Happy Camper. Tomorrow's a big game for us, right? Then we got that. And then we got this other thing, why a New York court case has rattled Turkey's president. There's another. He's a very shady character, this Erdogan, right? Very shady, right? So this Erdogan guy, right? There was a. See, this is where I get everything gets. I'm very confused, right? So we've talked about the Kirkuk oil pipeline and how between Erdogan, Khomeini, and Abadi, the prime minister of Iraq, all around, absolutely, Porky, how they were, because the Kurds in Iraq voted for their own government, but it was the centerpiece was the Kirkuk oil pipeline. It was going to help them fund their own government, and that whole thing got kiboshed. General Soleimani got involved. You're talking about a $7 billion asset. So maybe, so my two things, this is my thing, right? That's one, right? Then we know about according to Kenneth Tillman, according to Kenneth Tillman, Turkey's assistance to ISIS starts at the top, and they basically, Erdogan's son-in-law was involved in helping ISIS market oil stolen from Syria and Iraq. And we found that they were bombing the ISIS prisons to get them, so they were getting them freed. ISIS terrorists were being freed from these prisons. They were bombing the prisons to free the ISIS prisoners. So on the one hand, they're saying they're shooting at ISIS. The mainstream media says they're shooting at ISIS. Kenneth Tillman reports that they're aiding and abetting ISIS, they're stealing oil from Iraq and Syria, trying to get them sold on the open markets, I guess, through ISIS. I'm confused, right? I'm confused, right? In addition, we got Reza Zarrab, a Turkish national who bribed Erdogan, Erdogan's wife, Erdogan's son-in-law, Erdogan's son. Well, I don't know, car keys. I don't want to get it. We'll talk about that in a minute. I don't know. Marino, what are you talking about? They got so much money. Porky, only God knows what the Obama Clinton crime family have from the Iranian nuke deal. They got, if you think about it, 3 points of that deal, the 150 billion, that's 3 points is 3 billion. 2 points is 3 billion. They could just put it put it under his brother's name, Malik Obama, with Omar al-Bashir in the Al Shalom Islamic Bank, Osama bin Laden's bank in Sudan. It's crazy. Why not? He invaded Syria. Obama invaded Syria. Obama did nothing in Syria, bro. Rise is a rob, right? So lots of dough, right? That lost the dough. I'm telling you, bro. Syria, why is Erdogan? They're saying Erdogan's invading Syria. No, they don't mention Iran. They just say that they worked out a deal with Damascus. Damascus is Iran. Oh my God. The vectors don't lie. The vectors don't lie. Here's Damascus. Here's down here is the city of Kishwa, right? This is 8 mile radius. The city of Kishwa right? That's in the city of Duma is where there's alleged chemical weapons are in the city of Duma, right here, in an 8 mile radius around Damascus. Here's the Iranian embassy. They got 3 to 10 military bases in the 8 mile radius of Damascus. In the city of Kishwa, 8 miles south, 8 miles northeast is the city of Duma. The Iranian, I mean, and what's really crazy, so in the city of Duma is where the alleged chemical weapons are. And here's Iran is over here, right? So from here, Baghdad. Here's the 180 degrees, Damascus, Iran. Iran. I mean, they don't mention Iran at all. I don't believe it. That's why I'm very, very suspect of what the information is. I don't know. And then, I mean, the mainstream media, I don't think they're reporting it accurately, quite frankly. Right. The chemicals are on wheels, probably, Porky. So, DV, Damascus is in Syria. Okay, so what does that mean? What are you saying? Damascus is in Syria, so that from very, very plausible. Right. You're just coming on here, right? If you say, bro, you should just chill because you're walking into a something that you don't really know much of. We're talking about the vectors from Tehran, right? Porky is crazy. We're talking about the vectors from Tehran. You know, Tehran is the capital of Iran. From Tehran to Baghdad. This is the Iran's most profound vectors. Iran, did you know in Damascus, in an 8 mile radius, there's about 3 to 10 military bases? I don't know. I don't have a snapshot. I don't have Pentagon snapshots. I don't want them. That's classified information. But we know it's 3 to 10 military bases in an 8 mile radius, approximately around Damascus, and military bases. Iranian military bases. Baghdad to Damascus. That is Iran's most profound vector. It is parallel to the Cartesian coordinate system, and it goes 180 degrees west from Baghdad. It's a 5 hour, approximately 5 hour car ride. So that General Sharifi that killed the men and women of the United States Armed Forces in the Crowbar Towers attack could go from Tehran, Iran, to Winnebago, take 20 Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps members with 38 K-47s and go into Baghdad. It's in the third quadrant, approximately 240 degrees southwest. They're in Baghdad, 5 hour car ride. From that, they could take the Winnebago, that brigadier general, and go into the Iranian embassy in Damascus. It's a 5 hour car ride. So this is Iran's most profound vectors. And this is why Saudi Arabia is building a 600-foot wall along the Iraqi border. Not to keep out ISIS, to keep out the Sunni militias, the Sunni terrorists that Iran is materially supporting, like they did with Ansar al-Sharia in Benghazi. Okay? That's the explanation. So, rises Zarab, the Turkish national. This is why I get so confused. The Turkish national that was bribing the Erdogan family with millions of dollars to money launder through the Turkish banks to the Iranian Military Guard Corps tens of millions of dollars. They caught him and they caught this guy. Okay, now I'm gonna block. Joe, you can't curse in the room and you can't talk about our great president like that. You can't disrespect him like that. Okay? You don't have to agree with him. Right, Porky, 100%. So here's this case where Erdogan was caught in a very corrupt situation, right? The people were calling, and I think it's around this time that Erdogan did his, I don't remember the time frame, but Erdogan did his coup. Now, this is what and we started this off saying Erdogan is a very shady character, right? First of all, he's the president of the Muslim Brotherhood Party inside of Turkey, right? That alone is so I get rid of him. Okay, done. So Erdogan is a very shady character. So we talked about we talked about the Kirkuk oil pipeline, right? Which we understood why they were fighting over that. That's a $7 billion asset. Now maybe Kenneth Tillman's claiming that one of the things that Erdogan does by aiding and abetting ISIS, he steals the oil from Syria and Iraq and uses ISIS to sell the stolen oil. I guess maybe that's a possibility. So I'm trying to understand why it's Turkey. I'm very suspect of this region because I know Iran has got 3 to 10 military bases in the approximately in an 8-mile radius around Damascus. Russia's got 2 to 4 military bases above them. I don't know exactly the vicinity of them. And then above Raqqa, we have 8 to 10, America. Right, Porky? Absolutely. So this guy rises Arab. What are you talking about? I'm going to block you. You don't know what you're talking about. Should I block this guy? Cats. The guy used the F word in the room, and he disrespected the president of the United States. You don't have to agree with him. You could call out his policy. I have no problem with that. But you start dropping the F-bomb, I'm getting rid of you. Sorry. I don't care. So rises Arab. So we actually arrested him. He copped a plea, but he was money laundering for the Iranian Reserve Guard Corps, as did the Obama Clinton crime family did with the $150 billion to the Islamic Republic of Iran, to the $1.7 billion in cash. They converted it. They took Iran into our banking system and converted it to the euros and gave it to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. I got 5 sources in wood pallets in an airplane in the heat of the night, right? In the night, 2 o'clock in the morning, dropping it off to the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps. Unbelievable, right? Rises Arab. Now, Rises Arab was holding. Now, why am I talking about Rises Arab? First of all, he's a Turkish Iranian national that got caught up in this money laundering scheme for the Iranian Military Guard Corps, and we arrested him. He's also involved with Babak Zanjani. Babak Zanjani is an Iranian billionaire that he holds the First Islamic Investment Bank in Kuala Lumpur. That's where the Quds Force does a lot of its money laundering through in Malaysia. The special operations, special forces of the Iranian Military Guard Corps, and according to Kenneth Tillman, in Kuala Lumpur, in Malaysia, is where the Quds Force got the $8 to $10 million that Mohammed Jodaki was giving to Khalil Harab to give to Ansar al-Sharia, right? And Obama gave Iran 150 billion back in cash, claiming that they never got their jet fighters. We sat on $400 million, and The Hague said we got to give them 150 billion back. Are you kidding me? After they killed Americans for the last 20 years, they've been killing the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. They were involved in materially supporting Al Qaeda before, during, after the horrific hit on the World Trade Center, September 11, 2001. We got to give them their money back. Are you crazy? And in addition, he told the Khomeini that he didn't have to invest in the Victims' Compensation Fund, which was dealing with the families of the victims of terror attacks, in addition to the first responders. And our great president, Donald John Trump, brought that fund back. So getting back to Raza Zarab and Babak Zanjani. Babak Zanjani is now in prison because Hassan Rouhani is trying to maintain power. He don't want to get thrown out. So he's trying to show the people that he's going to take a hard line with the mullahs. So Babak Zanjani was lined up with the Iranian Military Guard Corps, with the mullahs, with the Khomeini, with Ahmadinejad. So you know, you're entitled to your opinion, Bob. So Raza Zarab was holding Babak Zanjani's money. This guy's a billionaire, and he has the First Islamic Investment Bank in Kuala Lumpur. And in addition, Babak Jandani was selling approximately 22 million barrels of oil off of Port Labuan in Malaysia to get around the Western sanctions Iran was using Babak Jandani. So the government, the Islamic Republic of Iran government, was being taken care of. They have no money problems. The people are getting squeezed by the government of Iran. And Hassan Rouhani is trying to, maintain power. And President Trump is squeezing Iran. So if it came out that Iran was involved with Erdogan in this maneuver, but conceivably, I don't know how true it is, in this Turkey insurgent or whatever, because first of all, like we've been chipping away at this, right? We know about the Kirkuk oil pipeline, right? Everywhere, right, Porky? We know about the Putin is involved. We know about the Kirkuk oil. How do you know? How do you know about? We talked about the Kirkuk oil pipeline. That's one, right? Where Erdogan and the Khomeini and the Prime Minister of Iraq, Abadi, got together and whacked. They got rid of Barzani because the Kurds had their independent vote, and they were trying to take over the Kirkuk oil pipeline. And those OGs, those gangsters said, "Hell no, that's a $7 billion asset." So that's one thing, right? And then we talked about, according to the Kenneth Timmerman article, maybe, because I'm trying to understand why, because when I hear Damascus and I hear, because, well, Russia is in Syria, right? Russia's got 2 to 4 military bases above Damascus. Iran's got 3 to 10 military bases in an 8-mile radius of Damascus, and we have 8 to 10 military bases above Raqqa, right? Now, according to Kenneth Tillman, Erdogan is materially supporting ISIS. And according to Kenneth Tillman, maybe Turkey's involved. Maybe Turkey's involved in, conceivably, he's saying, stealing oil from Syria and Iraq and using ISIS to sell it in the black market, I guess. I don't know, right? But because the mainstream media tries to say that Erdogan is whacking ISIS. Wait a second. According to Tillerman, Erdogan is materially supporting ISIS. Then it was reported that Erdogan, the Turks were bombing ISIS prison camps to get them free. So they were, I guess they're going to take the oil that he's stealing and sell it on the open market. I don't know, right? We know that Turkey there was a supposed coup, and there's much data out there claiming that. I mean, I don't have incontrovertible truth, but there's much data out there claiming that the coup that Erdogan, it was a stage coup, and he used that to turn the screws because he was involved in this corruption case. Well, ISIS, ISIS is to me, ISIS is a ruse, quite frankly. If you really want to come down to it, and you drill down into the nucleus, ISIS is the Iranian global terror network, the Sunni Shiite nexus. So it's Sunni militia, Sunni terrorists, like Al Qaeda, like Hamas, like Al Nurusha, with some sort of Iranian component to it, whether it be Hezbollah, Hezbollah is the Shiite terrorism arm of Iran, whether it's the IRGC, the Quds Force, ISIS. Well, I don't know, Porky. Let's just say that ISIS under Obama, ISIS is basically, in other words, Muslim Brotherhood. Because what happened to me, Iran had to partner up with a Sunni. They need a Sunni partner to expand. They don't have the numbers to become their thirst is to be the next Ottoman Empire, right? They want to be the direct descendants of Muhammad. They want to be the empire, the next Islamic empire. And Erdogan thirsts for that, but not as much as Iran does. Saudi Arabia, well, Al Qaeda was, well, I don't know, Katz. I don't know. No, that I don't agree. I don't know. Al Qaeda was formed when. Well, what you really mean is Musabu Abu al-Sakwari was the first Al Qaeda leader of Al Qaeda in Iraq when Saddam Hussein was taken out of power, right? So he basically got absolutely Porky. So basically the Saddam Hussein regime joined this Jordanian assassin, Musabu al-Sakwari. Well, I don't know if it's an offshoot of Al Qaeda. It's basically another Sunni militia, but it's, you know, not very sophisticated, right? It's not like the IRGC or, I'm not saying Iran, but Iran has a lot more. Iran learned a lot. They've come a long way from the Iran-Iraq war in the 80s in that way, with the Soleimani and they move well in the northern border of Saudi Arabia. They move very well through that terrain. They know what they're doing over there. That's why Saudi Arabia is very concerned with Iran. Because what Iran does is Iran throws these Sunni militias out there. And everybody thinks it's got a zero footprint. Doesn't go back to Iran. So, I really don't know. So what's really going on with Turkey? Our great president and the Trump administration, they got a ceasefire with Erdogan. They met with Erdogan. Erdogan is a very, our great president is doing everything that he's the president of the United States, and he's claiming, and he said that they withdrew 50, so he's entitled to, as the president of the United States, to withdraw troops. But I mean, honestly, we got, he's not going to take everything out over there. He's not going to just leave, because we got 8 to 10 military bases above Raqqa, and we got Israel over there. So we have to have. I don't. You don't know that. You don't know. I don't believe what's being reported. I just don't believe. I don't know. They had in Mosul when they supposedly were fighting. I'm telling you, Porky, right? In Mosul during the Obama Clinton crime family, when they were supposedly hitting ISIS, right? You had Hezbollah terrorists dressing as Iraqi soldiers. I mean, give me a break. Oh, that's what it was. Oh, Bob, you're a genius. How did you know that? Erdogan decided to evade after he read Trump's letter. Oh my God! And President Trump is a Russian KGB agent. You're a genius. By the way, President Trump is a genius. By the way, genius. Look what he did. I was talking to one of my friends. Look what he did with in 2018. They thought they had him boxed in. So Paul Ryan's doing his thing and against President Trump, and the Republicans in the House, they had control for 2 years. They couldn't get together on anything, let alone with the Democrats, right? Paul Ryan, 44 House reps resigned. 44 House reps resigned, 44 in 2018. What did President Trump do? He let the House do their thing, and he supported the Senate, knowing that his fail-safe was the United States Senate, and he expanded the gap between Republicans and Democrats. And he gave, right, absolutely, and he gave the McConnell more. He's got more power, McConnell, because there's a wider margin between Republicans and Democrats in the Senate. President Trump is smart, figuring that the Democrats are going to try to impeach him, and that's what they're trying to do. But nothing, like the 2-year investigation was fake. This impeachment is fake. To think that they have a whistleblower and they got him in house arrest and nobody can, I mean, it is beyond belief. So they just want to, because they know President Trump 2020, November 3rd, 2020 is going to be quite the candidate. He's going to be he's a force. President Trump's a force of nature, right? He's a genius. Absolutely. He beat everybody. Unbelievable. I'm so happy I voted for him. I'm so happy I supported him in November of 2016. Absolutely, Porky. So this thing with Turkey and Erdogan and Syria, I just don't understand. I don't know why I get very my alarms go off when I hit Damascus and Turkey, and nobody's talking about Iran in Damascus. I just don't believe it. Right? So we get the Kirkuk oil pipeline dispute with the Kurds in Iraq. We got the Tillman data claiming that uh, Erdogan is stealing oil from Syria and Iraq and using ISIS, materially supporting ISIS, using them to sell the oil in the black market. We got this corrupt case, this Raisa Zarab case, where a Turkish national was bribing the Erdogan and Erdogan's family with millions of dollars to use the Turkish banks to money launder through the Turkish banks to the Islamic Republic of Iran, to the IRGC, tens of millions of dollars, Zarab. Absolutely porky, right? And then we know about, oh yeah, I didn't even talk about Benghazi. Turkey was involved in Benghazi from the vantage point they knew of the smuggling of the weapons. Weapons were smuggled through Turkey from Libya. So because Erdogan loved Morsi, Obama, and Hillary Clinton cooed Mubarak and put Morsi in Egypt. Sorry, Egypt. Right. So strategically, because Egypt is a very strategic. Egypt is a very strategic country in the North African Middle Eastern region, geopolitical. Oh my God. And when Sisi and Israel cooed Morsi, right? Benghazi's bad, very bad. Libya is very bad. What they did in Libya. It started with it started with England, right? It started with Egypt. I'm sorry, it's late. It started with Egypt, right? When they cooed Mubarak and put in Morsi. Morsi is pro Muslim Brotherhood. With Erdogan loved Morsi. Erdogan loved Morsi. So did Omar Bashir. So did Iran. Ahmadinejad. 35 years, the first time Ahmadinejad landed on Egyptian soil. In 35 years, Iranian president, prime, whatever it is, wasn't elected. He was couped, right? They couped him in 2009. He was couped in, right? The Muslim Brotherhood operatives, absolutely. And Sisi threw them out. But the Muslim Brotherhood operatives, so you had Morsi, Omar Bashir, Ahmadinejad Iran has that connection with Muslim Brotherhood. That's their Sunni partner. Because in order for Iran to expand its regional influence, is through their Muslim Brotherhood, their Sunni partner. Because it's my understanding through the open source, nine Sunni to one Shiite. So it's, I don't know, that's why I get very suspect. The Kurds forces, this is it. Kurds forces announced deal with Damascus. Kurds force. That's not, now wait. Now you're going into something that's not really what, we talked about this. This guy in the room, this anti Trump guy in the room, we believe that the Ukraine scandal is a ruse, right? And look, we were right. I'm going back and forth. I'm all over the place tonight, but I don't mind it. I gotta be. Biden camp warns rivals offer tax on his family in Ohio debate. Right? We've been saying this. He don't want to be president. Nah, he don't want to be president. He don't have the fire in the belly. He's just there to get in front of this Ukraine scandal, whatever, Romania scandal, China scandal, I don't know, all these scandals. He don't want to go to jail. He don't want his son Hunter to go to jail. So he's there to say he's a candidate for president of the United States. So if President Trump attacks him, and like whether he right, whether Biden is there to get ahead of this corruption. So if President Trump says, Ukraine, investigate Biden, what do they say? Whether he said it or not, they say he never said it, but let's just say he did. I don't know. So the setup is they come back and say, well, wait a second. Joe Biden is a political opponent. He's running for president. That's the whole point. That's why he's running for president. I said this on another show. That's why he's running for president. So his supporters could say to President Trump's supporters, so to the opposition, they could say President Trump is talking to foreign countries to attack a political opponent. That's the setup. Do you see the setup? It's, as Adam Schiff would say, it's hide in plain sight. that other lie. Oh my God, he looks like Count Dracula. Man. He's like, that guy lies through his teeth. Oh my God, that Adam Schiff. I don't know how he looks himself in the mirror. He's such a liar. But Biden is there. He's not the father of quid pro quo anyway, right? The Clintons and the Clinton Foundation and the Obama Foundation, they're the experts of the quid pro quo. He's just getting, a piece because he was the VP. To keep him quiet, they gave him a piece. Guarantee he got nothing out of that Iranian nuke deal. Oh my God. Those gangsters, Porky, think about it. The OGs, right? Obama, Bill Clinton, Hillary Rodham Clinton, right? They're telling Biden, they go, listen, Joe, go to Ukraine, right? Do your thing over there. Go to China, do your thing over there. They go, listen, they got Iran, 150 billion. 150 billion back to Iran. What's 3 points of 150 billion? 10% is 15 billion. A half of that is 5%, 7.5 billion. A point is 1.5 billion. 2 points is 3 billion. A institutional trade. Unbelievable. An institutional trade, right? 3 billion. I wonder why Saudi Arabia. I wonder why we're sending 18,000 troops to Saudi, right? You know what's going on over there. I tell you the truth. It's better we send, and we have an organized. Military stronghold than having them come over here and start blowing buildings up. 3,000, 18,000. I don't know. I thought I heard more than that. I don't know. 3,000, fine. I stand corrected. I thought I heard 18. Whatever it is, I'd rather, right? Light them up. I'd rather President Trump send the troops out there. We don't want to. Who wants war? We don't want war. But if there's going to be war, we have the biggest. No, we don't have a base in Qatar. We have the biggest military base in Qatar outside the United States is in Qatar. Okay, and we have a military base in Djibouti, Ethiopia. We have a military base in Israel. We have 8 to 10 military bases above Raqqa. We have a military base in Oman. We have an air base in Oman. And if I'm not mistaken, we got something in Bahrain. We're all over the place. But when I hear, it's beyond belief, right, Porky? When I hear the Kurd forces announced deal with Damascus after U.S. But where's the mention of Iran? Iran controls Damascus. Iran controls Syria. 3 to 15 billion go to Assad, according to Deaths of Filkins, and annually. Soleimani, that's Soleimani's turf. He got Russia involved in the collapse to prevent the collapse of. Well, we know this guy, right? The collapse of Assad. He got Russia involved. God bless you. Light him up. Get him, son. So, I mean, that's how we look at it over here. You know, President Trump. People act like, oh, he's not. He wanted to put. He didn't pull out. He's not pulling out of Afghanistan. We can't on just intelligence alone, because Afghanistan's geopolitical position between China and Iran. We gotta be there. We gotta know what Iran is doing. We gotta know what China is doing. Well, hey, listen. The general could, hey, listen. I'm a fan of the Mad Dog. I'm a fan of the Mad Dog, but I also support my president. So we're talking about 50 troops. He's not pull. There's 8 to 10 military bases we have above Raqqa. Where are we going? We got the biggest military base outside the United States in Qatar. Where are we going? Nowhere. Afghanistan, we got military bases. God bless you. Light them up. Thank you for the shares. So I mean, to me, Porky, Obama was a traitor. He armed, bro. He materially supported Ansar al-Sharia, right? Money. Let's start with the personnel. I don't want to get. I'll talk about that. I'm all over the place tonight, but I like it. I haven't been on the air in a few days, so this is good. Ansar al-Sharia, right? He materially supported Ansar al-Sharia. Him and Hillary Rodham Clinton, right, Porky? Human assets. Morsi. They put Morsi in power. Morsi sent Mohammed Jamal Network to Ansar al-Sharia, the Sunni militia, because the vectors from Benghazi, below Benghazi is Ajabaya. Ajabaya is 9 degrees above is Benghazi. According to Kenneth Tillerman, that's logistical and technological support, technology. That pipeline going into Benghazi, that's where the Iranian Revolutionary Guard Corps, Quds Force, Hezbollah terror cell inside of Benghazi, right? 45 degrees southeast, you got Derna, right? That's where all the Al-Qaeda foreign fighters, a lot of them are. The pipeline is right there, right into Benghazi, right? Al-Qaeda in Libya is on fire, right? According to the, I had the document on the show, the Library of Congress document. On fire, according to a Libyan newspaper, in Benghazi, the Liberation Square, they had 15 Al-Qaeda foreign fighters, militias, at this meeting in June of 2012. What? 3 months before Benghazi. So I don't know how they allowed Benghazi to happen, right? Benghazi was a cover-up of the involvement of the Islamic Republic of Iran, materially supporting the Sunni militia Ansar al-Sharia, and that's where the cover-up. This is why we believe the Obama-Clinton crime family materially supported Ansar al-Sharia, because it can't come out, Porky, that Iran was involved, because then he wasn't going to get his money on this fake Iranian nuke deal. They were very much afraid. Was Kerry, was Hillary Rodham Clinton, William Jefferson Clinton, because he's running around with Winnebago, telling all the European countries, showing them how to get around, right? Let them up, showing them how to get around the Western sanctions and to make money with Iran. Right? Right, Porky? So what happened was, so the Islamic Republic of Iran has this terror cell inside of Benghazi, right? They use the Mohammed Jamal Network, according to Raymond Ibrahim, the investigative reporter. he's an expert. He's a Coptic Christian. He's an expert on Islam. He actually knows the language, and he was able to translate the tapes. And it found that the Jamal Network, which was a Muslim Brotherhood operative sent by Morsi, were at Benghazi. So that's assets from the Obama Clinton crime family. Weapons, 400 FIB-92s. That's the Soviet, those are the United States Stingers, U.S. Stingers, right? Plus, by whacking Gaddafi, he gave the Islamists 20,000 Soviet manpads. That's missiles, 6-foot missiles on the shoulders, shooting down our own Chinook helicopters. And so, according to Kenneth Tillman, he has data on a U.S. Stinger from the Afghan Taliban, which is Iran in a lot of instances. Iran materially supports them. It's crazy. According to the article, I think it was the Telegraph, this guy Colin Coughlin claiming that Iran stole manpads from the Gaddafi debacle. They got their hands on manpads and they smuggled them into Sudan. That's what he was claiming. I don't know, but that's off the hook, right? So, okay, Bob. I know you voted for Hillary. It's okay. I know you probably were very unhappy on November 6th? November 8th, 2016. I can't wait for November 3rd, 2020. Snowflake, right, Porky? So we got human assets, we got weapons, training is the Islamic Republic of Iran, the terror cell, Quds Force, Hezbollah, IRGC, terror cell inside of Benghazi. So they cookie cutted, they put together these Sunni militia free agents and made up this Ansar al-Sharia, so it wouldn't come back to them. It would be Sunni militias. It wouldn't you wouldn't think it was from Iran. And the Obama Clinton crime family gave them money, U.S. Stingers, gave Iran 1.7 billion in cash, gave the Islamic Republic of Iran 150 billion, right? Gave them all that money back, and they're taking that money to fund a terror hit in Benghazi. How do you give? So if it came out, not only would the narrative be against what the Obama Clinton crime family was saying about in the 2012 election, that they had ISIS on the run, they had the radical Islamists on the run. Could you imagine if it came out that Iran was behind the hit on the Benghazi mission? And so not only that, and we're giving them money. It kills the Iranian nuke deal. It publicly, because the Iranian nuke deal was fake anyway. They didn't include the Iranian ballistic missile program inside the Iranian nuke deal. So if you don't do that, it's very hard. I'm not going to lie. It's very hard to stop a country like Iran with their thirst for power from proliferating, but you can slow them down. And by not including the Iranian ballistic missile program inside the Iranian nuke deal, the deal's a ruse because you're not slowing them down. North Korea's got the missile and rocket components. They're flying them over Chinese airspace from North Korea into Russia, into Vladivostok Airport in Russia, from the Sunan International Airport in North Korea, Air Koryo. Beyond belief. Unbelievable. So this whole thing with Erdogan is, I don't know if I believe, because when they tell me Damascus and they're in Syria, where's Iran? And if they mention Iran, President Trump's a genius. It makes President Trump a genius. Because what's President Trump doing to Iran? Squeezing them like you wouldn't believe. So maybe by Erdogan fronting in Syria, maybe it gives the Trump administration the ability. God bless you, light 'em up. I appreciate that. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you for those kind words. I really appreciate it. Because I think that maybe I'm thinking that maybe, wow, you were in Afghanistan and Iraq? Wow. God bless you, Porky. Wow. God bless you, my brother. Because I think that I'm just trying to understand. Maybe Erdogan provides cover for the Trump administration to work out a deal with Iran. I think. I don't know. That's what I'm thinking, right? Because who's they go like this. Look at this. Kurd forces announce deal with Damascus if the pull out, if the U.S. pull out. Look at this. Kurd forces announce deal with Damascus. Damascus. Who runs Damascus? Iran. That's Iran's freaking. That's their colony over there. They're colonizing. They colonized Syria. Erdogan is. I mean, Erdogan could be fronting because Erdogan, Erdogan has. I mean, I'm not saying. Let's put it this way. I'm not saying Erdogan is buddy with Iran. I don't know, but I do. Erdogan has been on the side with Iran in numerous instances. So Erdogan is capable of having a. Let's put it this way. I think Erdogan, Turkey, has a better rapport with Iran than what's being published in the open source in the mainstream media. I think that's fair, right? So if Erdogan is a lot more friendlier, for the sake of a better word, with the Islamic Republic of Iran than what's being published in the open source, that means it's very capable. That maybe, I mean, what Iran controls Damascus, and if it comes out that Iran's working with Turkey on this, right? It makes President Trump look like a genius, and he is. They don't publish it. They say Kurdish forces announce deal with Damascus. Who's in Damascus? Assad? Soleimani laughing at him. Soleimani laughs at the Syrian troops. He laughs at them. The general from Iran, from the Quds Force. He laughs at them. Iran calls the shots in Damascus. Iran calls the shots in Baghdad. They picked Maliki. I mean, come on, man. Well, whatever. I don't know. Halliburton, whatever. I mean, this guy's a real. He voted for Hillary Clinton. What can I tell you? That tells you a lot, right? Good luck. With the grace of God, Porky, right? I'm looking, hashtag Trump 20 landslide. At the very least, we get reelected. President Trump's getting reelected. We get reelected. Absolutely, Porky. We get reelected like 16, very least. 2016. The very least. You know? So what time is it anyway? It's gotta be like 1:30. Is it that late? 1:30? I'm up that late? Oh man. I get caught up. It's almost two. I'm almost on the air 2 hours. Wow. It's crazy. Is it that late? And you want to know something? I think it's that late, right? Wow. I got to get to bed. I'm going to go to the gym tomorrow. So I'm going to get out of here. It's almost I'm only at 2 hours. I had fun. Wow, it's 1:40. I'm going to bed. Wow. I got caught up. The lefties came in the room. I get all caught up. The Yankees won today. Well, we didn't win anything yet. But I love my Yankees, and I think they're gonna give them all they can handle in Houston. And I think they're a tremendous baseball team. So we'll see what happens. We got to take one game at a time. Nah, just as long as you don't curse. The only reason why I blocked the other guy is because he cursed. Just used the F word. Careful with the snowflakes, right? Absolutely, Paul. I'm gonna get out of here. It's late. So I'll try to get on Sunday. Hopefully the Yankees are playing Sunday, and we we pull the big comeback and we win the whole. We go to the World Series. It'd be amazing. Have a blessed one, Bob. Thank you for your informative information. Hey, you voted for Hillary Clinton, so I'm not, there's nothing else more to say. How you vote for Hillary Clinton is beyond belief. So I'll see you all. Good night, Porky. God bless you. Thank you for the visit. Lawrence and Pat Dawkins, thank you for the stop by. This is Frankie Russo coming at you straight out of Brooklyn. I'll see you all hopefully Sunday night, if not Monday, because it depends what the Yankees are doing. Hopefully, if we're in the World Series, I'll definitely come on the air. Thank you, light 'em up. God bless you. Thank you for the visit, my brother, and thank you for your service. You too, Porky. Thank you for your service. God bless the men and women of the United States Armed Forces. Thank you for your service, and thank you for providing me, absolutely, Porky, with with the freedom that I love to do is broadcast. Thank you so much. God bless God bless the greatest country on the planet, America. I love my country, and God bless our great president, Donald John Trump. This is Frankie Russo. Hopefully, if it's not Sunday night, I'll see you Monday night. This is Frankie Russo coming at you straight out of Brooklyn, and I'll see you in the future. Hashtag Trump 2020 landslide, and you got to check out my app. It's a new app. It's a baseline app. It's very basic right now. We're working on some different things, and you go to put Frankie Russo in the Apple Store. Yeah, I have an app called America's Team. You put Frankie Russo in the Apple Store, and up comes the app. It's free right now. Yeah, you just join it. It's free, and I have everything, all thing about the show and the vectors. I got some nice pictures in there. It's a start of I'm building an app. So right now it's an app. It's very basic, but I'm building. I'm going to be updating it. We're going to keep updating it till it, keep tweaking it. So that's where we're at right now. So you just go to the Apple Store, put in Frankie Russo, and you get America's Team. It's free, and you'll have access to any future events, any future promotions. There'll be discounts. So if you want to get involved, not a lot of money. Okay, it's Frankie Russo, and I'll see you in the future. YouTube Live, Pat Dawkins, Lawrence. I'll see you either Sunday night, Monday night. I'll see you, depending what the Yankees do. I'll see you in the future.